Socrates, born 470 BCE, was an Athenian philosopher best known for willfully drinking poison after being sentenced to death for corruption of the youth of Athens, but let's back up real quick and figure out how this all came to be. Socrates was what you might call a man with a loud mouth, but instead of just ranting nonsense, his questions caused others to ponder in a more critical way. Willing to challenge the status quo of what reigning Athenian officials saw as what was right, he became what Plato referred to as the gadfly of the state, stinging the political horse, as it were, into action. This all came to a seething head when Socrates' best friend Chaerephon visited the oracle of Delphi, a rather influential woman of religious hierarchy at the time, and asked her if anyone were wiser than Socrates. She replied, "No one is wiser than Socrates." Excited at the news, Chaerephon did what any good best friend would and ran straight to Socrates' house to inform him of the amazing development. Instead of being excited or flattered, Socrates looked his best friend dead in the face and essentially said, "Bullshit." Convinced he couldn't possibly be the wisest man in existence, Socrates launched what would prove to be one of the most successful and yet irreparably damning social experiments anyone has ever conducted. Determined to prove the oracle wrong, Socrates went about questioning a number of influential figures in and around Athens: clergymen, politicians, artisans, other philosophers. He questioned everyone. What he found became a point of great contention when he made these findings public. That, despite the fact that most men believe they know a great deal, they actually know very little, where, paradoxically, because Socrates was aware of what he did not know, made him the wiser. The oracle, he could only conclude, was right. Outraged at being publicly humiliated, the spearhead which formed to push for Socrates' trial forward suddenly gained exceeding momentum. What had been an uninteresting situation suddenly became heated, and despite it all, Socrates remained cool and collected. When put on trial and asked what he thought his sentence for his crime should be, the ever-incorrigible philosopher retorted quickly and without pause, "A wage paid by the government and free dinners for the rest of my life instead, to finance the time I spent as Athens' benefactor." To the very end, even when offered aid to help the man escape his sentence, Socrates again held his cool and explained, "To flee would prove that I possess fear, which he believed no philosopher should ever have." So, there you go. The man that gave you the Dunning-Kruger effect before Dunning-Kruger existed. I guess that means it's a Socratic effect. Now you know. Thanks for listening.